Welcome to our Clarity and Focus session. We are live by the Pacific Ocean, just over my shoulder. You notice people walking beachside here. I thought I'd do something a little bit different, head on outside and share this presentation with you. This presentation we've got here today is called Practical Client Acquisition. So one of the things that I'm often mindful of is that I want to be making sure that I'm opening the door to generating client opportunities. I'm opening the door to getting focused on the activities and the things that I want to do to make sure I've got clients. I've got the opportunities coming in all the time. And more importantly, that, at the end of the day, we are being in business. And by being in business, we need to actively engage. And a lot of people out there are really not actively engaging enough. I had this conversation. In fact, I was on an actual webinar yesterday. And there were 200 people on this webinar. They were agencies and marketing people from all over the world. And I asked this question to them. I said, how many appointments have you generated in the last 2 weeks? How many appointments have you got in the last 2 weeks? And I was amazed that of the 200 people, there were only maybe 20 people that had more than one appointment, right? So the average person had between 2 and 4 appointments in the last 2 weeks. And so my next question was how is that, how is that helping you grow your business? How is it possible? How are you actually growing your business by only having 2 appointments or 4 appointments over a 2-week period? Because at the end of the day, if your conversion rate is, let's say, 1 in 4 or 1 in 5, a lot of people didn't make any sales. In fact, I asked this question to the 200 people. I said, how many of you actually made a sale in the last 2 weeks? And the majority, in fact, I think there were only 2 people that said they'd actually made a sale. 2 people out of 200 people in a 2-week period. These are agencies, right, that actually made a physical sale in their product on the market. To me, that was absolutely crazy. That was crazy that only 2 people acquired customers in a 2-week period out of 200 people who are apparently actively helping people in the market. So what I want to do is I want to very quickly go through some things in terms of some focus, some understanding through this presentation. I'm happy to answer some questions for you in the chat, but let's get into the practical client acquisition into the market. So number one, we need to make an enticing offer. And I want to talk about, I guess, some examples, some ideas around creating an enticing offer. My question is, what are you offering? What are you offering every day? How many people are you offering that to? How often are you engaging with those offers? That is going to determine how successful you are in any business. If I'm in an e-commerce business, I want to be making an offer every single day, 24/7. If I'm in a service-based business, I want to be making sure that I'm actively engaging with an offer to the marketplace every single day and that I can actually follow those offers up, because I want to start that conversation and I want to also make sure that my offers are relevant, right? So in thinking about that, what's my number one strategy or offer that gets my clients results? So if I know that I can get a client result with my Facebook advertising, and I know that we achieve a certain outcome, then that's the thing that I want to bring to the market. The result is what I'm selling. So for example, I'll give an example. I was talking to a law firm, and one of the things they said to me, they said, look, we don't want personal injury clients. What we're looking for are funded startups who have capital and need to look at their structures for managing their risk and protecting their assets, right? So I basically asked a couple more questions. So you're looking for an introduction to a CEO or founder of a startup that is funded, that needs to look at how they protect their assets and make sure that they're structuring themselves effectively. That's what you're looking for. So rather than saying, let me give you a bunch of leads, what if I knew a way in which I could introduce them or find those funded startups? And I said, if I actually brought you companies that had 5 million to 25 million or more in startup capital invested in their idea, would that be the ideal client? And he basically said, that would be the perfect client, right? So then it got me thinking. I thought, well, if I went to lawyers, how many lawyers work with funded startups? And so I started looking for lawyers who work for funded startups, right? And there are a lot of lawyers out there that specialize in funded startups. Well, actually, they say they help startups to establish their structures, their legals, their protection, their risk management, their corporate contracts, all that sort of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of people that specialize in that area. And if I know, so in my head, if I know a place where I can find these people, and I can find people who have raised 5 million, 20 million, $50 million worth of capital within a 6-month period. So to me, these would be ideal prospects. So my enticing offer, or my number one strategy is, what if I could connect you with founders that have $5 to $50 million that they've capital raised in the last 6 months? If I can only introduce you to those people, would that be the type of person you're interested in? And they go, that's exactly who we want. Great. So if we can work on a strategy where I'll introduce you to those types of people in the marketplace, and I can only introduce you to people who are funded, then can we work together on putting that plan in place? That is a very powerful offer because it's very specific and it's very succinct to the result or the outcome that the actual client gets. That's what they're looking for, right? So the next one is show the top 3 converting landing pages that are offered to a market. If I was going into a market and I knew that there were certain offers and things that were already converting, why wouldn't I just show them the top 3 things that are performing? Why wouldn't I show them the top ads that are performing, the top campaigns, the top targeting that's performing right now, or retargeting that's performing right now? If I went to the market and say, listen, right now, the number one thing is you want a working solution that is getting results right now that people are investing in. If I can show you what's actually working right now, and more importantly, show you how to optimize that, it'd be really cool if we can work together to get that campaign up and running for you. So show the top 3 ideas, strategies, landing pages, offers, ads that are working in the market, right? And reverse engineer how that works and go to the market with that offer. I have never seen a person say no. Very rarely have I seen people say, no, I'm not interested in seeing the top performing campaigns in the market. So the last one is show a reverse engineered campaign that's already working. So if you have a campaign that's already working, or a structure, an offer that's already working and getting results, then what you want to do is to share how that works. Lisa Cho, one of my champions, reverse engineered a case study off a website, and the website was an email marketing website. It was a sales automation software product, and they had testimonials of customers that did very well by automating their sales by using the software. And she saw in their case study, this was a particular franchise company that said that they'd improved their sales by more than 100% since automating their marketing process. So what Lisa did is she went and looked at the company's website, applied, opted in for their opt-in, went through the whole process, applied to see the opportunity they were sharing as a business opportunity, went through and looked at all the emails, all the videos, all the things, and she literally just mapped it out, right? And by mapping them out, she saw why this company was improving or had a dramatic improvement in their conversions because of the structure or the process that they put into place. So in doing this, by reverse engineering, then she went to a franchise company and said, hey, would you like to see a completely reverse engineered sales automation process that is converting, that's improved conversion rates up by 100% using this automation? As a franchise company, are you interested in seeing this system? The very 2 people that she shared that reverse engineered strategy with bought from her. They in fact spent more than $200,000 to have her implement the same process. And lo and behold, they started to see a dramatic increase in their sales and their conversions. Now, she did not tell the company that she worked with this company that she reverse engineered. She just said, we have a team that does this. And she did. She had a outsourced resource partner team that helped her put that campaign together, right? But following that process, she said, hey, this is a system that's already working. We've got a team that implements this system. She did not say that we work for this company. We just know how to make these systems and these strategies work. We wanted to share with you, right, a process, share with you a process that is already working in the marketplace. So making enticing offers like this on a consistent basis, you're going to open the door to acquiring customers, right? Speak to the ego. One of the things that I've found that works really well is if we speak to the ego of the market. So what do I mean by speaking to the ego, right? Do you want to be seen everywhere by your prospects? Do you want to become visible to the market everywhere by your prospects, right? Do you want to dominate in your local market? Instead of being visible, what if you were the dominating player where you were visible not just to the market, but more importantly to people who are interested in buying your product or service? Are you interested in looking at a way in which you can dominate into the market, right? The other thing is, do you want to be seen as the best expert in your market? And one of the things we do in the PT market is we literally say, hey, what if we could actually turn you into an authority, a celebrity, and an expert in your local community as the person to go to for any type of pain, knee pain, back pain, balance, rotator cuff, shoulder pain? What if we actually placed you in a position where you became the recognized authority in your market for the very service you provide? Is that something that you're interested in doing? These are simple things. When you speak to people's ego, you dramatically improve the chance of generating the outcomes that you're looking for. So three things. Do you want to be seen everywhere by your prospects? Visually be seen everywhere. Visually be seen in ads. Visually be seen in retargeting. Visually be seen in locations. Visually be seen in Google My Business, right? Exposing your company to be visible so that you let people know that you're open for business, right? So three things to change the game right now in business. And these things haven't been any different to what hasn't changed the game in the past, but right now, these are things that are changing the game in business, the marketplace. So number one, automating lead generation. That is a game changer. A lot of people don't realize it, but most people realize in this time, especially going through coronavirus, a lot of businesses realize that they weren't very automated, they weren't very structured, and they've missed out on lots of opportunities. They haven't been collecting leads, they haven't had to build a system to automate lead generation, right? Building a database of prospective buyers. A lot of people have not built a database of prospective buyers. They might have done some lead gen, but they didn't capture the leads, or they didn't manage the leads, or they didn't place them in a way. So this is the thing that will help people change the game. So you can ask these questions. Are you automating the process to engage your leads? Are you capturing data? Are you helping those people purchase, invest in your products and services, and building a relationship so that you can actually build an asset, or more importantly, improve your chances of acquiring and addressing customers? Are you automating, or have you automated your sales promotions? Are you only running one promotion periodically, or are you running consistent promotions, testing your offers, seeing what works, engaging your marketplace? Are you doing this on a regular basis so you maximize your opportunity? One, to acquire those customers. Two, to build a database of customers who are interested in what you have to offer. Three, to be able to re-engage those people, to share, offer other offers and other services you provide in the marketplace. Are you doing this right now? Because if you are, what do you think is going to happen? If you aren't, what do you think is going to happen if you're not doing this, right? What if your competitors do this, right? So your sales process sucks. A lot of people's sales processes suck. One of the ways that I do is I mystery shop companies that I want to work with and record those conversations and feed them back to the people that I'm working with and say, hey, in fact, Jay Bayer, who does this brilliant in the dental market, what he does 5 mystery shopping calls on dental practice. And he records those calls and sends those recorded calls to his prospects. And he runs a product called Fix the Phones. Now, he charges $40,000 to help people to train their team to handle inquiries better, so they book more appointments or schedule more appointments for dentists. But one of the ways he discovers where they drop the ball is in how they engage the leads that are coming into their business, right? So do you mystery shop the recordings? Do a breakdown assessment. Look at a digital footprint and say, hey, these are the common mistakes or common issues that most companies are or aren't aware of right now that they should be working on from a digital footprint point of view. One of the reasons why a lot of businesses have failed in this time of coronavirus is because their strategy isn't right. It's not working, right? Offer to talk to them, right? Offer to say, hey, have you thought about having a discussion about how you maximize your opportunity to be more visible, to how you maximize your opportunity to automate, how to maximize your opportunity to build systems and processes that help you to do those 3 things, to acquire customers, to increase the average spend of your customers, and to generate frequency in the marketplace. So these are sort of the things that you can use to get out into the market, right? Now, the next thing is tactical selling strategies. What I mean by tactical, physical things that you do on a consistent basis to have conversations with your clients. If you're going to put something out there, especially if you focus on a targeted audience, so you keep it small, right? This way, you're going to maximize your opportunity to get a result, right? What most people, they haven't broken down their sales process. They haven't even mapped out from the beginning to end of what it looks like in a journey of a buying process. So think about what you do and think about how you help a client and map that out for yourself, right? I'm just making sure that you can see. So yeah, so tactical selling strategies, the best way to do that is reverse your sales process. From the time somebody pays you, right, to the time you send an invoice, to the time you have an agreement signed, to the time you've actually done a presentation and they've agreed, to the way that you've done your discovery, to the way that you've actually done the initial conversation to get them to the point of discovery, to the way that you've actually got that client as a lead or an opportunity to have are you a qualified fit, to the way you generated that lead in the first place. If you map that process out and you follow that process through, especially if you do that on where the last sale you made, how did you make that sale, and work backwards as to how that worked, now you'll have a defined, successful sales process that you can actually take every single person through, and this will maximize your conversion rates for your services, right? So let's just, so next. So sales won't work without confidence. One of the things that I often find with people in the market is they're not very confident at selling. And the first reframe of selling is, rather than think about it in the way that you're selling to people, think about it in the way that you're actually helping people. When people ask you what you do, you tell them this is who we help. This is what we do to help people in what we do. We don't sell people what we do. We help people with what we do. So take the reframe from selling to helping. Now, so if we take that reframe to helping, then you can say, hey, are you interested in getting some help with this idea, right? What if I showed you how something worked, and at the end of that, you can decide whether or not we can work together. This is a very basic, non-threatening sales process, right? If I could show you something that gets a result, gets an outcome, gets a thing that most people in your market are looking for, and at the end of that, if you like the idea, can I show you how I can help you to put that in place so you can see the results in your bank account? That is the easiest pitch that you can ever make in the market. And one of the ways to build your confidence is to let people know or teach people what you do. Don't sell them on what you do, teach them. Say, hey, here's how you get a result. Here's how Facebook ads actually work in your market, in your business. Let me walk you through how that works. Hey, here's how you actually craft compelling offers. We've been helping people with these great offers in your market. And so here's how you craft a compelling offer that gets better conversions, that gets better results and better response rates, right? So these are the things that you want to do. This will improve your communication. This will improve your confidence. This will, because you're taking that philosophy of helping people rather than selling and telling people. So how do we get confidence? The fastest way to know how to get confidence is actually do the thing that you're afraid to do, right? Talk to people that you know first. Walk people through and let them ask you questions. It's really safe to do this with somebody that you know. So if you know somebody who's in business, ask them, say, hey, can I walk you through a sales process of what we do or how we help people? And can you just give me some feedback on perhaps some of the questions you might have, things that perhaps I'm not answering, or things that perhaps you haven't thought of, or just what you like about what we do. Can I walk you through that, and can I get that feedback? So if you look at this in a non-threatening way, the more people you have a casual conversation with and the more people you speak to on a consistent basis, the better you're going to get at being able to help people, right? That concept of teaching people what you know through a consultative sales approach is a much easier approach than trying to force people through some sort of process, right? We want to find out what is important to them when it comes to the thing that we do. We want to find out why that's important to them. We want to find out why it's important for them to do that now. And then we sit and say, well, if these are important things and this is why it's important and this is what's holding you back, right? Well, what if we walked you through how we can actually help that or help you make that happen? So that's the thing that you want to be mindful of. And as I put my microphone back in my close to my mouth, those are things you want to be mindful of. Building your confidence is having those conversations and doing it in a way that is a non-threatening environment, right? Just to say, hey, this is a process of help. Love to get your feedback on it, right? I cannot tell you how many times I've done presentations to people where I've walked them through exactly what works and how it works, that they'll turn around and they'll say to you, what's it going to take for you to do this for us? Oftentimes when you take that approach of helping, they turn around and say things like, hey, how can we engage you? How can you do this for us? What's it going to cost us for you to do this with us? This is one of the most natural and easiest conversations you can have in that process. So dominate the interwebs for content in your market. Think Gary Vee. If you really want to dominate the sphere of a customer, one thing that I've learned to do if I want to build authority really fast is I think about the top 5 challenges or frustrations that a market is having. The way I discover this is I talk to the market. I either see what they're asking on a regular basis in terms of the questions, but I also look for a way to discuss or talk to the market so that I maximize my opportunity to direct my messaging in alignment with where they're thinking. And if I can ask those questions from that perspective, then I know that I can solve problems. But the way I build authority is I would encourage you to do 5 videos. And the 5 videos are really simple. They don't need to be very long. Probably between 3 to 5 minutes is about average. And what you want to do is you want to highlight the problem. Say, hey, this is a common problem in the market. And here's what happens when people experience this problem. Now, what if we actually solve the problem? So here's a really simple way, or maybe 2 ways you can solve this problem. If you're interested in knowing more, grab some time on my calendar in the link below this video, and you can send that to people. But you can create a really simple series of just answering those types of questions and then feed people a drip feed in the market. Now, if you text it to them, if you Facebook it to them, if you LinkedIn it to them, if you place that content strategically and syndicate that in your profile, what happens is you start to become very visible, right? They start to see your information. So I'm not talking about creating a ton of content. I'm just talking about creating 2 or 3 pieces or 5 pieces that you show to everybody, that they see and they say, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. This person's building some presence, right, in the market. So never underestimate the power of face-to-face. Most people think we're in the virtual world, right? And I'm talking to you right now through Zoom. And I'm talking to you, if you're watching this live, we are live here. It's like we're doing an in-person meeting here. And so you're seeing my face, my eyes, looking back at you in this time of this conversation. So the idea is, rather than having physical face-to-face meetings, we have virtual face-to-face meetings, or we have real face-to-face meetings using things like Zoom or Skype video or GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting, or the 100 other teleconferencing or video conferencing softwares that are available for us to have physical conversations. So you want to have face-to-face. A lot of people do really well on the phone, and if you do well on the phone, then that's great. But if I can see your eyes and you can see my eyes, and I can see your expressions, and you can see how I react or engage you, you're going to dramatically improve your ability to convert those sales. The power of face-to-face in presentations is gold, because you can see what's going on based on the facial expressions and how a client is communicating. And because they can see your eyes, that there is more way of building rapport and a connection with you as part of this process. So using things like Zoom or the video conferencing softwares, you maximize the opportunity to get much stronger conversions. A lot of people, they shy away, but being face-to-face is ultimately probably the best position you can be in. And right now with technology, we've never made it more easier than ever before. And the other thing is, we don't have to hop in our car, we don't have to hop on a plane, we don't have to drive around. We can talk to the world online, but face-to-face on video is better than just on the phone, okay? So there will always be objections with almost every single sale. You need to understand what those objections are. The most common objections are money. The other common objection is, will this work for me? The other common objection is, I need to think about it. The other common objection is, I need to talk this over with my partner. These are common objections, right, that people have. And the other thing is the other objections are, do I need to do this right now? Is it important for me to do this right now? Another objection is, why am I talking to you? How can you, how do I trust it, or trust that you will deliver? These are objections that will come up in most conversations. Some, a few, one, or all of them will come up in every sales situation. So if we know the common objections, then we need to look at the ways to minimize the impact of those objections. So if one of the biggest objections that we used to get is, I need to talk to my partner. So then we would never, one of the first things we would ask is say, look, at the end of the day, if we're going to do this meeting, we need to make sure everybody that is part of the strategic decision-making of this company needs to be at this meeting, because we want to give them the courtesy to be able to answer questions or ask questions and have them answered. So this way, you're going to get a much succinct outlook of how we help you. And more importantly, we can help you in the moment that we have that discussion, so we don't have to go back and forth, or we don't need somebody to go to somebody else and say, hey, we're thinking about this idea, what do you think? So we would never have a meeting. If there's a partner involved, a spouse, an internal partner, or a stakeholder that's involved, they need to be there. So number one objection, how we handle that is we make sure that the person's there. We tick that box, and that way they turn up every single time. We maximize our conversions by doing that. If it's a money thing, work it out, right? How do you make it easy for people to buy? How do you finance what you do, right? Can you, can you give them a monthly plan? Can you offer it up front? Will you give an incentive to pay up front, right? The money objection is, most people just need to understand the value proposition. If you've anchored the price on value, you understand that, one of our value propositions is, if you gave me 2 or 3 patients and I gave you 15 patients back, would that be a good deal for you? And most people say, yeah, that'd be a great deal. So what if we actually worked on that process where it only costs you 1 or 2 patient value costs, and we'll give you 3 to 5 patients back, right? So, we've actually stopped a bit of broadcasting here. So let me just, it's connect. Oh, so I've lost connection. So I'm back here. I'll walk you through the last of that presentation. So you want to work for the deal. So another part of this, acquiring customers is you're going to have to do some work. You're going to have to do a little bit of back and forth. You're going to have to answer questions. You need to take control. Do not just rely on email for your communication. Oftentimes I sit there, and here's a perfect example of this going on right now with one of the people that I'm working with. They're in the middle of signing a really big deal. It's a really large tech company that they've taken through the sales process, and the tech company has sat there and said, yep, we want to do this. Now let's look at our agreements, right? So they want to give their agreements to the legal department. So now the person I'm working with has to go away and put their agreement together, and then that agreement's going to be sent to the legal department, and the legal department's going to review all those bits and pieces, make some recommendations, and then they're going to go back. Then he will have to make some adjustments to the agreement. Then they're going to have an invoice, and then it's going to take all this back and forth in his time, right? But what if he made it easy and he already had a standard agreement that he gave to everybody? He doesn't have to make a specific agreement. The only thing that changes is the inclusions of whatever the project is. But the standard agreement stays the same. So the idea to minimize the time frame is say, great, I can give you the standard agreement right now, right? I can email it to you on a piece of software like PandaDoc or DocuSign, and all I need you to do is let's walk through it together, right? And make sure that we're in agreement with what we said that we deliver, what your expectations are, what our expectations are of you, how we work together. If we can walk you through that, we can do that right now, right? Now, if legal needs to have a look at it, that's fine. We can give it to legal, but we're giving it to legal up front. We don't have to go away and spend a week because the longer that you take to close the deal, the less likely, in fact, what happens, anything can come in and kibosh your deal or stall your deal, right? So understand that you want to be making sure that you are maximizing your opportunity to generate your sales. And if you're not doing that, then what's happening is you're allowing people to walk away with the deal, or the deal will walk away from you. So you need to work it. You need to make it easy. You need to think about, invoicing. Why invoice a client? Why not take the payment up front on the call, right? Why not sit there and say, hey, I can take your payment right now. I've got a button here. If I put in your credit card details, as soon as I hit the submit, you're going to get an instant invoice for the installment. So let's make this easy, because if people say send the invoice, that means they have an intent to pay. So if they have an intent to pay, why not ask for payment on the spot? Most people don't do this. And when you do, people go, oh, that's easy, right? So the key here to this process is you want to make it easy for people to buy into what you have to offer. That's the goal, right? If you don't make it easy for people to buy in what you have to offer, then it's going to be very difficult for them to do business with you, right? So understand that the way to maximize your opportunity for generating sales is to make sure that you're prepared. You need to work this. Don't go back and forth on emails and all that sort of stuff, because if you're going to do that, that actually minimizes your ability to close those deals, right? It minimizes your ability to make sure that you're generating the outcome that you're looking for. So I'm just trying to get back into my meeting here with my iPad, and we are back. And I'm just going to make sure that we disconnect our audio, and we're using internet, and we're there. All right, so I'm going to share my slides with you again. We're going to go screen broadcast, start that broadcast. So you should be seeing this coming up on your screen. And we're back. Okay, so here we are, work the deal, right? So understand that how do you make it easy? And that's what you want to go through this process and this mindset to help a client. If you've got an agreement, have the agreement already ready before you do the presentation. If you are going to get paid, have the invoice ready before you finish that presentation, right? If you have a standard deposit that you take, create an invoice for that standard deposit. Have the ability to take the payment online straight away. Put a link, use document software to have them sign on the spot. So that way you're not delaying this whole process. We might as well get started. Let's make it easy for you. I've got our agreement. Let's walk you through this agreement very easily. If you're okay with that, just electronically sign here while we're there. Great, so the next thing we need to do, we need the initial installment. So best credit card that you can use, it's going to give you the best rewards points. Amex, great. So what's the number on the Amex? Let's take that initial installment. Hit the submit button, bang, you'll see an invoice in your inbox right now for the installment. And then you're starting to work with the client, right? The next thing is you can negotiate with someone's wallet, right? Sorry, you can't negotiate with somebody's wallet, but you can negotiate with their feelings. And so one of the things that you want to get into in the mindset of is making sure that you're determining how important this is to them, or how important it is for them to do this. Why is this a must? Why is this a must do this right now, right? If it becomes a money thing, then anchor the money against the value, right? This is where a lot of people get stuck when they're sharing the price points. What I want to find out is what a client is worth to them. And I want to sit and say, my worst case scenario, if I were to attract clients based on your conversion rate, let's say they say 20% conversion rate, and let's say their deal is 10 grand per deal, right? So for every 10 people I bring them, they're going to make 20 grand, right? That means they make 20, but they lose 80 because 8 people don't buy. That means the opportunity cost is $80,000. But if I bought you 40 people, that means you're going to make 80 grand. My question to you is, how much would you pay me for $80,000 worth of sales? Now, they might turn around and say, you know what, 5% or 10%. So for every 80 grand, they're willing to pay between $4,000 and $8,000 for 10 sales, right? For 10 sales, right? So understand, or sorry, for if it's 10 grand, for 8 sales, right? For 8 sales, they're going to get 40 leads, right? 10 leads a week, right? They're willing to pay $8,000. Now, if I've got a budget of $8,000 to generate $80,000, right? That's a no-brainer buy. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that they're aware, why is this important? And the idea, the way to make it a no-brainer is to anchor it against their sales, against their price, and using their numbers, not your conversion rates, their conversion rates. And one of the questions I often ask is, if I sent you 10 people, how many people would buy? Right? That's a question I'm commonly asking people, right? If they say 2 out of 10, great. So to make the X amount of dollars for your business, we've got to send a certain number of people to your business in the marketplace. So use the feelings, use the why is this important, rather than how much is this going to cost me, or is this expensive with sticker shock, right? So cannot emphasize this enough. Most people don't do enough of this, but I want to make sure that you are aware of this. If you want to close deals, and this is where deals go pear-shaped, the longer a deal is left on the table, the less likely it's going to be actually converted into a sale. If you get a verbal agreement from somebody, right, a verbal agreement is not a sale. A paid cash in bank is a sale. Don't count a verbal agreement as a sale, because it's not a converted sale, right? There's no document signed, there's no agreement signed, and you don't have any money in your bank account. It's not a sale until they pay. I don't count anything as a sale until I've collected money. So to do that, you want to make sure you're following up. If you're going to follow up, you want to make sure to close a deal, even if you have a verbal agreement, you want to get that deal paid for and signed for within 24 hours. 48 hours is starting to get long. Anything after 72 hours, you have to renegotiate or redo the deal, right? You have to warm them up again to let them know what this is about, because within 3 days, they've forgotten 75% of what you tell them. So what you want to do is, if you ever get into a situation where they say, hey, you know, we want to get this started, right? If you can't get them started on the spot, then you want to get them started within 24 hours. So you want to say, sit there and say, great, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me shoot you an email, give you some information. What if I call you tomorrow at 4 o'clock, or would 9 o'clock in the morning be better for you? 9 a.m. or 4 p.m., which would suit you best? 9 a.m., great. So I'm going to lock that in my calendar, and I'll see you tomorrow, right? And in between now and tomorrow, you're going to send them an email that updates exactly what you spoke about, so that when you get on the phone, say, right, I guess really the only formality we have to go through is to get this thing started, right? Follow up within 24, 48 hours, no longer, no less. Anything after that, you're going to have to redo the sales pitch. You're going to have to reignite the sales pitch with them, because after 3 days, they have forgotten 75 to 80% of what you've offered, and other things are on their mind, and other things are a priority. So it's really important that you follow up and follow up and follow up what you do. I often ask this question, what are you running from? The reason why most people are not successful in business is because of, there's a whole bunch of reasons, but a lot of it has to do with fear. One of the reasons why people aren't successful in business is because they're afraid. They could be afraid of rejection. They could be afraid of the work. They could be afraid of being successful, right? Oftentimes, when somebody is struggling in their business, my question is, what are you running away from, right? What are you running away from? Now, I'm not asking you this question rhetorically, but I'd like you to think about this particular question, because at the end of the day, whatever it is that you are running away from is the very thing that is stopping you from doing what you say you want to do. And that's the thing you want to address and handle the most. That's the thing you want to talk about to make sure that you're getting the opportunity to generate better outcomes for yourself. So if you can figure out what you're running away from, and we can solve that problem, then you're going to be scaling and growing your business much faster. The big one that I often ask to people is, and I've asked this people point blank, right? What do you do every day to expand your business? Now, when I say expand, I mean bringing people revenue, cash flow, new clients, upselling existing clients? What are you doing every day to expand your business? Now, if you sit down and look at your day or look at the day that you're in, and at the end of the day, if you ask yourself this question, what did I do today to expand my business? And if you look at the activities that you did, if those activities do not align with somebody having a conversation with you, then you've wasted your day. You have wasted your day, right? In most cases, I find people waste their time doing all the things that they don't need to be doing to acquire customers. So there are 3 levels in this business, right? The mindset level in this business is getting to 10K a month, 120K a year. $10,000 a month is a milestone for a lot of people. That's all about mindset. That's all about you believing that you deserve to make $100,000 plus for yourself. Now, to go from 100K to $1 million is all about sales and marketing. So your effort should be 80% sales and marketing and 20% should be fulfillment, right? 80% sales and marketing, 20% fulfillment. From 100,000 to $1 million, that's where you're at. At the $1 million mark, at that level, then you're thinking leadership, management, because you're going to be hiring people and scaling, building systems, processes. And so that way, you've exercised the marketing and sales muscle. You've got that right to get yourself to $1 million. The idea is next to get to yourself to the 5 million. The question you want to ask yourself every day is, what are you doing every day to expand your business? I ask myself that question every single day just to reflect on what I did to bring people into my businesses, right? What did we do as a company to bring people into our business? With that intent and with that focus, we are constantly looking at ways of continually engaging clients. In fact, we've seen growth rates of more than 30, 40% in this period of apparent lockdown and disaster and coronavirus and all those sorts of things. In fact, we haven't retracted, we've expanded. We're in the middle of hiring. I'm looking at, I need 4 key hires right now in just one of my companies. In another of my companies, we need about 7 hires in another one of our companies. But right now I'm hiring, where a lot of people are retracting, right? I'm expanding. The reason I'm expanding and the reason a lot of people I work with are expanding is because they're focused on what they can control and what is important right now. Now, the last question that I'm going to ask is, what are you doing this all for? The more you understand why you're doing this and what you're doing this all for, the more you connect with that, the more you resolve with that, right? The stronger your business is going to be. Right? If you're committed to what you do and you're focused on getting these outcomes, then you will do everything humanly possible to make that a reality. The only thing that's stopping you are your actions, right? The only thing that's stopping you is the type of action you're taking and the actions that you're getting feedback on to move you forward in this game. Growing a business is really simple. Make an offer to somebody who is relevant to, that will get a benefit from what you do. So if you understand who will benefit from what you do, then what you want to do is you want to get better at making that offer. You want to get better at engaging. You want to get better at communicating that message so that they resonate with what you've got to offer and they will invest in what you have and you can build and scale and grow your business. So with that, we are holding an event. We call it the Website Sales Intensive. You go to websitesalesintensive.com. The reason why I'm holding this event is because right now, in this last 3 months, most websites, about 85, 90% of websites and landing pages are wrong, right? The reason they're wrong is they're not addressing the key factors that people need to know about your activities as a business. How are you keeping them safe? How are you doing business differently? How are you engaging them? What are your offers? Everything stems from the shop front window, the corner store that you have on the internet. And if your website presence isn't articulating the right sort of message right now, and if you don't have a mobile website, one that is mobilized so that people can easily engage and acquire, then you're missing out on opportunities. And I believe lots of businesses right now need to redo their sites. So we've partnered up with My Web Audit, which is an amazing piece of software that devises audits on sites. So you can actually get paid for in advance, right, to do a proper audit. The reports are stunning. The presentations and the slide decks are stunning. The idea is to help you to convert high 5 and high 6-figure websites. So if you want to convert high 5, high 6-figure websites, and you want to learn how to find those clients, how to engage them, and how to get them to actually invest that level of money, and you don't even have to do the delivery, you can actually hire in resource partners that we'll introduce you to as part of this training, right, to generate clients, then you want to be on the Sales Intensive. It is on the 18th of June. It is at 9 a.m. It goes for 4 hours. And we're literally going to walk you through exactly how to acquire customers that are going to be spending 5 and 6 figures on a website from you that you don't have to build. You can actually get somebody else to build for you. The ticket is a $97 ticket for the actual event. The back end, all the training, the slides and the recordings and the sales process, everything's going to be provided to you for this $97. You're going to get access to a membership area. When you purchase a ticket, there's already bonus training in that membership area, and there's also resources right now you can take advantage of before this event. The other thing is this ticket, what we're doing is we're trying to raise funds for sustainable causes as part of the educational programs that we run. And what happens with this ticket is when you purchase the $97 ticket for good, there are 3 families that are going to have plumbed taps, water, fresh water plumbed into their homes for the first time for this $97. We're going to plumb fresh water with a tap into homes that don't have fresh water. We're going to pay for the education for 1 child for an entire year. This $97 ticket does a lot of good. So 1 child is going to have their entire education paid for 1 year from this ticket for good. And then we're also going to be helping a farm, a community, a village with a beekeeping farm, so they can raise funds, so they can support their village and with honey products in the marketplace. So this $97 ticket is a ticket for good. The event is called the Website Sales Intensive, how to actually close high 5 and 6-figure website deals. We're going to provide you with the system, the software, the structure, and the process, show you exactly how to close those deals, how to have stunning presentations, to have people literally want to do business with you, want to have a website developed for you. So if you're interested in joining me on that event, if you go to websitesalesintensive.com, grab your ticket for good. It's a $97 ticket. You'll immediately get access to a private chat group with me and some of my team members. You'll also have access to a members portal. In that members portal, you'll have there's already a course in there. There's some the software access in there. There's free trial in there. There's other resources we're placing in that membership area. You'll get immediate access to the private members area for the Website Sales Intensive. This is a live event that's happening on Thursday, June the 18th. If you go to websitesalesintensive.com, I would love to show you how to close 5 and 6-figure website deals. The ticket is $97. And as I said, you'll get all the recordings, all the slides, and the ticket is going to go to a great cause. In fact, 3 different causes. We want to make as much impact as we can on these sustainable projects. So I thought this is a great way to raise funds, but at the same time to give you exactly what you need to be building and growing your business in the marketplace. So with that, I want to answer your questions. We've got a whole bunch of people on this call. In fact, we want to stop the broadcast there. We want to get back to me. And so I'm happy to answer your questions right now. I'm just looking at we've got a whole bunch of people here. Chris, Alok, Gandhi, Alok, good to see you here. Eric, good to see you. George, John, John Marenko, Mark, Rashida, awesome. Samantha, good to see you here. Any questions? I'm happy to answer any questions that you have for this. I just want to make sure that we are responding to your questions. I'm just watching the questions here as we whoops. So what we want to do is we want to look at them more and we want to look at chat. So if you've got a question, feel free to ask me the questions in the chat. I'll respond to your questions. I noticed a few people here. Biggest takeaway from what I've shared on this webinar, it'd be really cool if you want to share your takeaway, just type in the chat. I'm just wanting to make sure that I've got your chats here. Any questions? I'm trying to get your questions or your chat here right now. So Rashida is asking, if a prospect has a chain of command, their company where someone needs to get it before sending it to be approved, do we still pass on the meeting? Rashida, that depends, right? If the person can sign off on the money, then that's great. But if they have to sign off on somebody else or pass on to somebody else, what's going to happen is they have to ask permission. If they have to ask permission, that means they have to present your presentation to those people. And that means that they're doing your job and they're not going to do a great job. So unless they really like you and say, we have to do this, you're now trying to turn somebody into an advocate. I would rather have the decision maker in on the meeting. I always work from the top down. I don't work from the bottom up. A lot of people try and go in the middle and work their way up. I always work from the top down. So if you want to do that, what you want to be doing is you want to be making sure that the decision maker is there as part of the presentation. And how you position that is so that they can ask questions. It's going to be very difficult for them to ask questions, right? So here's a scenario. I've been in a situation where I've presented to a marketing director, and the marketing director couldn't sign off on more than $100,000. And the deal I was talking about was 200 grand plus. So when we're doing this deal, they said, you know, well, I've got to run it by the boss, right? So great. So the boss knows you need to do this. You know you need to do this. So the boss will ask questions, right? So the managing director would ask questions, and then this person will come back to me and say, well, what about this? What about that? And then I'd answer those questions, and they go back to the boss, and the boss will have more questions, right? And so what we're doing is we're playing telephone, we're playing tag or tennis back and forth on questions where I'm not able to speak directly to the person who's actually asking the questions, and not able to ask the questions that I want to ask to be clear. So to answer your question, Rashida, oftentimes, yes, I will pass on that meeting. Unless they can sign off themselves to a budget, then I don't need to speak to a CEO. But if they can't and they've got to refer to somebody else, the likelihood of you converting that sale is going to be very low. You know, so you're taking a punt, because unless you're very comprehensive with what you present and how you present it, then it's going to be very difficult for you to close that deal. So hopefully that answers the questions. George, recently businesses I've been speaking to have been burnt, and skeptics, how to overcome skepticism. George, really easily, right? Show them the results. Show them, you know, walk through, look at metrics, show them that you're going to show them the metrics and the measuring of what's going on. Record the calls for accountability. Having a system and automation and follow-up to make sure at the end of the day, these are the ways that you minimize their risk, is by putting in processes to show them how you minimize their risk, right? So that's how I would overcome, right? Does that mean that you're going to stop advertising because you've been burnt by an advertiser? No, you just need to, you know, if you're confident in your strategy and you show them how you're going to work together and you've built that know, like, and trust, they're going to make a decision to work with you. I oftentimes bring up the fact that they've been burnt. I said, look, you've probably been burnt before, and let me explain why you've been burnt. Here's all the reasons why people get burnt. Here's how we make sure that you don't get burnt. Pretty simple, right, to do that. So hopefully that answers your question, George. Any other questions? I'm happy to answer any questions here as we go through. Any other questions? Just type in the questions. I will respond to your questions. Any other questions? Yes or no? Maybe. Biggest takeaway from what I've shared with you today, just type in the chat. Love to know what your biggest takeaway is. Any other questions? No, we're all good. Nobody's tapping in. No one's got any questions. That's amazing. In pursuing a potential strategic partnership such as software, how would you make it a benefit to them? So, Chris, the way I'd make it a benefit to them is, are they serving my customer? Do they have a customer list? Are they serving those customers? What are they doing to serve those customers? Do I have a list of customers that I could share with them so we can do cross-pollination of marketing? The way I would add value is by providing training, by providing some support. If they're using their software to grow their businesses, or they're using their software for process or whatever you're doing, a good value add is to package in training to show them how to get more, get results with their marketing or get results with their business development, and give them and offer them training. Oftentimes with companies, I've offered companies free training to share with their clients, that it's something that they can add value along with their packages. In fact, one of the strategic partnerships that we have, a breakthrough, we have a product that we call Killer Marketing. It's a $10,000 product. They buy the product from us at cost and package it into every sale that they make. And that is a strategic partnership. So we get them to buy 10 units at a time. They love the product. They think it's awesome. And they package it in as a value add to their clients, because they figure a $10,000 acquisition cost on a software that people are going to spend $500,000 on is a no-brainer. And people love the fact that they're packaging in that added value. So that's another way to do that. They build software for dental surgeries. So are you actively engaging dental surgeries, Chris? If you are, do you have a list of dentists that you can go and share with them? That's the question. If you've got a list, then you can look at ways of doing cross-pollination. That's one of the easiest ways to do partnership. You can say, hey, I took dentists all day long. I've got a massive list of 1,000 dentists in the marketplace. Do you want to work together on cross-pollinating an idea on when we can build an alliance and open the door that way? Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions? I'm happy to take another question. Otherwise, I'm going to say thank you for being here, because the water temperature behind me is 70 to 6 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 24 degrees, 25 degrees Celsius. And it's a beautiful sunny day, and I want to go jump in the ocean. Any other questions? Happy to take another question. Otherwise, I'm going to thank you for being here. If you haven't already, go to the website salesintensive.com, purchase a ticket. I'm going to show you how to close 5- and 6-figure deals. Thank you for saying have fun. I appreciate that. Nope, we're all good. Okay, thank you. We will be here in a kind of, the surf does look great. It's actually quite beautiful here today. So we are going to be here. We are going to be here same time, same bat channel on Monday at 4 p.m. PST, US time, not Australian time. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It'll be Tuesday at 9 a.m. in the morning. We are here from Monday to Friday, sharing ideas, tactics, and strategies to grow your business and your agency and your marketing consultancy. Chime in and ask some questions in the group, in the Facebook group. If you want to catch this, go to the YouTube channel. We have put together over 70 videos in the last few months. There's a ton of content, ton of ideas and tactics and strategies out there for you to take advantage of. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me by the beach. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to seeing you over the weekend. Enjoy your weekends. Be safe. Probably the biggest thing you can do is give this a shot. Try a few of these ideas, and then go over and jump into the website Sales Intensive. Thank you, everybody. Take care.